Today's video is all going to be about Ember Gran, who disappeared from her father's trailer in the middle of the night. But that is actually a suspicion.
News 10's Ashley Carrasco is live in Wairika with what we know so far. Ashley.
Dave, we're right in front of the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office. They're very involved in this case. According to the sheriff, just after 6 o'clock Monday morning, two people were held at gunpoint and their car was stolen. Now, that suspect was later identified as Matthew Graham. That carjacking happened in Shasta County, but they were able to track the car on a GPS tracker that was on the car, and they got other law enforcement involved, and they were able to corner Matthew Graham in Dunsmuir, California. Now, according to the sheriff, that's where a shootout occurred, and that's where Graham was killed. Now, Graham was a lead person of interest in the missing case of his baby girl, Ember. Now, he says that according to the sheriff, as investigators continued to, excuse me, I'm having technical difficulties. I'm going to send it back to the studio.
The baby had, medical issues. The baby has not been found, and I would not be optimistic about the safe return of the child.
Well, officers are still searching for baby Ember. If you have any information, you can contact the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Department. As for the shooting, the California Department of Justice has taken over the case. Everyone who was at the scene will get a trauma debriefing to make sure they are in healthy condition.
And then, if you do not know who Ember Gran is, she is a 6-month-old who went missing. And you're about to find out.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Curran. If you like true crime stories, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell. So this is a couple that fell in love. They had this pretty little girl by the name of Amber. Jamie describes her husband as, in the beginning of the relationship, it was good. And then after a time, after she had the baby, it was okay. It wasn't great and it wasn't terrible, but it was okay. But the one thing that kept them together was actually Amber. And she said that she felt that Matthew loved Amber, and she definitely loved Amber. And even though the relationship wasn't going very well, they had that one thing in common. The families of Jamie and Matthew loved their granddaughter, like any grandparent would. They really invested time in their granddaughter, both sides. So that was a good thing for Jamie and Matthew to have that support. Matthew's mom said that Amber definitely was the apple of her father, because everything she did, he thought she was just over the moon. And she knew how to work her little charms for such a little baby with daddy. Amber did have some health problems. She suffered from seizures, so it required medication to keep her from having seizures. Cousin says that Matthew was a good father, but he was also kind of reckless because he liked to party. And she said that he liked to smoke, get high, and he was pretty much a party boy. And this is when Jamie and Matthew started having problems, because the more he was partying, the more unpredictable, erratical he was. And she didn't like that change, and she didn't like that the focus that he had for the family was starting to dissipate, and she felt that this was not good. Jamie said that it got to the point that sometimes he'll come home from work, he'll walk in and he'll tell her, okay, you gotta go, move out of the house. And then he would eventually come over and say he was sorry, let her stay. And she said this went on for a period of time where he would come in and say, okay, no, it's time for you to move out. I don't want you guys here. So it was back and forth type of thing. And she says that, it got to a point where she didn't want to take it anymore. Matthew would move in with his cousin and spend some time away from Jamie and the baby, that maybe he can get his life back on track. if they had more money, maybe things would be better. And he also said that he had gotten a ticket while he was drunk driving and he needed to pay that ticket. It was not just the drinking and the drugs. It was also financially stress for both of them. So even though they did have the support of both grandparents, he just felt that it was too much stress. They set up visitations for Matthew because between his work and trying to get his life together. So what they would do is that once a week he would designate time and day when he wanted to pick up Amber and spend time with her. It was maybe a day during the week or maybe one day out of the weekend. One day Matthew picks up Amber and takes Amber back to his home. He went to bed around 10:30 and he's living in one of these little trailers, the one that you hook up and take off with, and that's where he's living. And it's a very small place, so where he was sleeping in a crib that they had there for her. So like I said, he goes to bed at 10:30, wakes up in the morning, and all of a sudden he looks at the crib and Amber is gone. He panics and starts yelling, going out of his trailer, looking for Amber everywhere. Matthew calls the police, and the police right away comes over. And at that same time, Jamie was heading over too. And Matthew was just losing it at this point. Could you imagine that? When Jamie gets there and she goes to talk to Matthew, she's expecting Matthew to be completely losing it, and she's going to try to talk him down. And when she gets there, he's actually pretty calm for someone that just lost a baby and had no idea where the baby's at. And she said that it almost seemed like he was trying to be hysterical in order to portray that, because she felt that he wasn't really that upset. She said that he looked like he was crying, but it sounded more like a whining than a crying, and that she saw no tears. At this point, Jamie's thinking to herself, okay, she knows the baby's gone. Now, Matthew says that she was sleeping right next to him in the crib. How could he not hear the one door, the only door he had to that mobile home that actually squeaks when you open it? What I saw, the windows weren't open, and if it was, they would have to be extremely open to get someone in through there. And then you would see the screen of the window would be gone, but none of that was happening. So it had to be someone that came in through the front door. Now at this point, the police is dispatching a search party because they need to find this baby soon. So mind you, she needs to take medication or else she'll have seizures. So they just went crazy with the media and everything to try to get the word out there as soon as possible, and they search for Amber. But at this time, they're not finding her, and the police is kind of being suspicious at this time that maybe perhaps Matthew had something to do with it, and they just didn't have any other clues. According to Jamie's father, that's Matthew's wife, he said that Matthew was the type of guy that he would ask you if he can borrow $10 and never pay you back. He would borrow things from people and never return it. And he just wasn't that responsible of a guy. At this point, the police is now shifting their attention towards Matthew because they're going over and over how supposedly she disappeared, and things are not adding up. So the police says that the day before Amber disappeared, Matthew did something kind of strange that day. It was caught on camera. According to Matthew's cousin, she says that Matthew called her the day before Amber disappeared and said, I am going to the corner gas station. Do you want something? And she said no. So Matthew packed up Amber, put her in the pickup truck, and he went to the corner gas station. According to Matthew's cousin, she says that gas station is only 5 minutes away from his house, so she expected him to come back right away, and according to her, he didn't. According to the surveillance videos of the store that he went to, he pulled up to the Happy Stop, and he had the baby with him. He took the baby out of the truck, walked into the store, grabbed a couple of things, paid for it, and walked right back out and put the baby in the truck, and he went the opposite direction. He didn't go home. He went the opposite direction. Instead of heading home, according to the police, that he headed west to the Clear Creek Tower. Now, the police said that Matthew took that ride because the baby was fussy and he was trying to get her to fall asleep, which is a logical thing. A lot of us do that. According to the surveillance camera, at that same store that he stopped that Happy store, caught him coming back the way that he left an hour later. So he took this trip for an hour, then he went home. So the police asked Matthew, where did you go for that hour? And he says that he doesn't remember. Amber's family, especially her mother Jamie, is pleading with the media to please, whoever took the baby, bring the baby back, because she needs her seizures medication, and it's already been a week, and for certain she's had seizures because she has no medication. So she's pleading for whoever took the baby to bring the baby back. According to Matthew's cousin, she claimed that when Matthew came back from that hour trip, that he had the baby with him. That's not when the baby disappeared, and that she feels in her heart that he had nothing to do with her disappearance. According to Jamie's, Amber's mother, Jamie also believes that Matthew's innocent. She will change her mind as the story goes. So they arrest Matthew for drug possession and keeps him inside the prison as they're searching for Amber. During the time that Matthew was in prison, he never said anything about baby Amber. According to court documents, that Matthew spent 8 hours with the police and they were interrogating him. And during that time, Matthew never tried to help the police by saying anything that could have helped them to try to find Amber. Talked about Amber. He just kept his mouth quiet, pretty much nodded his head or said yes or no, but wasn't giving anything about Amber. As a matter of fact, when they put him in prison, at no time did he ask, was Amber found? And now they talk to Jamie, and they finally start telling Jamie what's going on with Matthew, and that's when Jamie came to the realization that maybe Matthew had something to do with the disappearance of their daughter. Now, during this whole time, there's still a search party going out there looking for Amber. And they're tracing where Matthew went that day that he went to the store. And they're tracing his steps from that store to where he claims he went to and where his phone was pinging in that direction. And when they went through all that area, they found Amber's pacifier laying on the ground. So the police took the pacifier to have DNA done on it, and it came back as Amber's pacifier. And this was really far from where Matthew said he was driving to. The pacifier was on the side of the road. This is where Jamie says that she thinks now for sure that Matthew had something to do with their daughter going missing, because they found the pacifier out in the middle of nowhere. There was nothing around there but just woods and a bridge and, no homes, no nothing. Why would he go over there, and why would her pacifier be on the side of the road? Matthew has been released from prison because they really didn't have anything to hold him on. When he went home, he told his mom that he was innocent. He said, we didn't do anything to Amber. The police then calls him and says, you need to come back, because that's when they found the pacifier. So Matthew told his mother, I can't be locked up again. There's no way I'm going to be locked up again. Why would he say that if he's innocent? Matthew told his mother, could you please drive me to the police station? I don't want to drive. And she said, of course. So she started driving him to the police station. When they get there, now, one thing I have to say, Matthew's mother, Sheila, used to work for the police department, the one that she is taking her son to. When she parks her car and tells Matthew, I'll be waiting for you when you get out, he opens the door and he runs the opposite direction. So now the police is not looking at him as a person to question, but a person to arrest. So Sheila is in the car when Matthew left, and the police went out to look for him. In Sheila's purse, which I find it kind of really weird, but she had a gun in her purse and $400 cash. Supposedly, Sheila said that she had no idea that Matthew had taken that gun and that money out of her purse. So the police puts out an APP in a warning that Matthew Grant had a gun on him. So the police calls Jamie and her family and said, lock yourselves in because I think Matthew might be coming after Jamie to try to kill her. So as Matthew's running, he sees a car that he can steal, and he puts his gun and tells the person in the car to get out. And he takes the car. So Matthew takes the car and heads to Interstate 5. What Matthew does not know is that the car had a tracker on it, and the police was able to track where he was going with that car. At this point, he's driving and heads up to Dunsmuir. And he gets out of the car, goes into an open garage of a house, and that's where he holds up. And the police, at that point, gets there. The police made sure to go around the whole entire area and told everybody not to come out because there was a situation. The police now trying to talk Matthew out because he will not come out. Matthew actually shot at the police, and then the police...
Actually, guys, I researched it, and it turns out he did not shoot at the police. It only seemed as if he did. Really, he was shooting at himself. He actually tried to take his own life instead of shooting at the police. So that bit is not real. That bit was all confused and stuff. But no, he was actually shooting himself, trying to take his own life, but he actually did not succeed at shooting himself.
Shot at Matthew and ended up hitting Matthew. Called for an ambulance, but then like a few minutes later, they said, never mind with the ambulance because Matthew was dead. The police says that Matthew had every intention of shooting the police because he pulled the gun out to the point...
Incorrect, obviously, as I just said.
Where they could see it, and then he shot. So they knew that he was going to try to shoot his way out. Unfortunately, since they could not get Matthew out alive, everyone feels that only Matthew knows where baby Amber is at. Nobody else knows. Jamie said that Matthew should have stood up and said what he did. At least they would be able to know what happened to Amber. Now, Jamie also states that Matthew's family knows more than what they're saying. And she says that what they're doing is wrong because she wants to find her daughter and they just want to cover up what Matthew did. Also, Jamie said that she totally believes that Matthew's cousin, Sarah, knows more than what she said. She knows the truth, that she feels that Matthew told Sarah what happened, and she refuses to tell anyone what happened. She is saying that Matthew had Amber.
Okay, guys, so that comes to the end of our video. Just wanted to say that another point, that the mother actually was on the walkie-talkie that she had, listening to what happened while they was trying to get her son out of the garage, and it turns out that 12 police officers opened fire and killed him. I actually do not know if he was in any sort of state to shoot the police at this point, but we never know until evidence comes out saying that he killed his daughter. Sorry guys, this is the only evidence I can give you because I know no more than you guys. Bye!